Okay. This is question one of my media analysis, which is, in what ways does your media product use, develop, or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? So I'm just going to talk about the conventions of drama, since our piece is actually a drama piece. So the main conventions that I've picked out and highlighted are the lighting of it, or the grading, I believe, is when, I think that's the colouring, when you kind of tint the colour. So I'd say the grading tends to be dull, and the characters tend to be characters that you can sympathise with or feel sorry for. So it tends to be quite an emotional genre. In regards to the other ones, you get to explore characters' feelings more. So I'd say that in general, media as a whole tends to challenge ideologies. I'd say that, or it tries to change ideologies. It tends to try and convey real life and the reality of life on TV, and it tends to try and challenge some ways of thinking, some traditional ways of thinking, and tries to show them, how the youth nowadays are thinking, how they should be thinking, things like that. So our piece, I'd say, exaggerates the ideologies in order to heighten the unfairness between the male and the female character. That's what I'd say our piece tries to do, especially in the title opening, because obviously we hadn't developed the whole film. Ours tries to depict the norm of today as well. There are lots of abusive relationships that go on, and many go unheard of, in the sense where many women don't come out of the don't fight the relationship, and often dwell in it or feel like they've been mistreated, but they don't do much about it. So our piece was to try and kind of not really exaggerate, but it was to try and portray the reality of what's going on, to try and educate people and to try and make people realize that this is an issue that is going on and we should try to do something about it. Some symptoms as well. And I guess our piece uses irony as well in the drama, because you've got a character that is confident. Well, I'd say she's confident in her field, she's talented, but when she gets home, it's complete opposite, because she feels trapped and confined, whereas a home is supposed to be a place you feel comfortable in. Right, so soap operas and dramas, like I was talking about, try to challenge mindsets, and our piece tries to do that. I'm going to turn over. I'm sorry. So I'm going to talk about why we chose the drama. We chose drama because we thought it was a suitable genre to convey such a serious issue. We thought about doing thriller beforehand. However, when we did the pitch, we realised that we were trying to make it as realistic as possible. So we weren't going to involve realistically, it's not like, obviously there are extremes, but I'd say in the norm, even though abusive relationships aren't normal, but in the norm of abusive relationships, it's not a case of both of them have guns and there's knives and there's brutality all over the place. It's more emotional and psychologically, rather than just the physical, which I feel like thriller would focus on. We know that drama tends to be a genre that allows characters to explore their feelings and allows the audience to engage in the characters' feelings and to know the characters more. Hence why we chose it again. It's the most realistic, like I explained beforehand. And we thought that if we were going to try to teach a lesson, just like media as a whole tries to challenge ideologies, tries to change mindsets and tries to kind of make things normal, tries to make things normal. So we thought this was the best genre out of the many out there that we could use to kind of teach the lesson that we wanted to through our piece. We know that drama tends to be an emotional, tends to entail. I was just saying that emotional roller coasters, and if we got to produce the whole film, so it'd be best then for us to use a drama. An example of her emotional roller coaster during the title opening is when Deanne is kind of holding her ring on her ring finger. She's twisted it. She's not quite sure whether she should take it off, symbolizing the end of the relationship, or keep it on, but we saw that she was confused beforehand. And then another emotion that she feels is, I guess, confident as she's showing her work to people, as she's an author. And then she gets a text from her fiance suggesting saying he's gonna take her out. She replies saying yes. I guess she's excited at that point, and you see her getting ready. She's getting excited. She's dressing up. We see the first bit of color that she's, apart from black, kind of, and then you see the door shut really harshly, and then she gets scared again. She kind of feels timid and she feels tense again, and then that's when it cuts off, and it's just a emotional roller coaster. If we could produce the whole film, you could see that, and that's what I was gonna mention before the camera cut off. So bye everybody.
Victory may lay